Charlie Bahama Show. Charlie Bahama Show. Charlie Bahama Show. Charlie Bahama Show. Charlie Bahama Show.
It's the Charlie Bahama Show. Yeah.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here in London, sunny London. Well, as you can see, it's not sunny London. This is typical weather in London. It's rainy and overcast here. So we're gonna be talking to some Bahamians here in London doing big things. And of course, all the landmarks in London. So the first one on the list, of course, is Big Ben and Westminster Abbey. So I gotta find where Big Ben is. Let me ask this Londoner here. Hello, sir. Can you tell me where Big Ben is?
I know.
Okay. I'll thank you though. I'll ask another Londoner where Big Ben is. But come on back. Charlie Bahama Show here with Bahamians and hopefully some landmarks. The Charlie Bahama Show is brought to you by KFC. Ignite your senses with the exciting flavors of KFC. And brought to you by Superwash, where they washes you, dries you, presses you 24/7. And brought to you by Wendy's, where quality is our recipe. And Marco's Pizza, the Italian way. And the Save Exuma Alliance, committed to preserving the Exumas. Subscribe to the Charlie Bahama YouTube page and follow Charlie Bahama on Instagram and TikTok for those classic and new interviews. Charlie Bahama, the original OG, and OG don't stand for old guy.
Bahama's house. And guess where Bahama's house is? Charles Street. Look at that. It's Charlie Bahama Street.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the Charlie Bahama Show, and I am here with a good friend for many, many years. But it is so good to be here in London, and I said if I'm coming over here to feature talented Bahamians, you are one of them. Your art is amazing, and in fact, I'm so happy because there was this style that I didn't even know, because what we're seeing here is what I know, but you have so many different styles. But before we get into the different styles, like what got you into art?
Oh, what got me into art? I honestly, I always say this, I think it was just growing up in the Bahamas and being bombarded by nature and living in the land and going to Exuma and with mommy and daddy and my two sisters and, you know, hanging out with the peacocks and flamingos in Mather's Quay. I mean, how could you not be influenced by that? And how could you not develop an appreciation for art, which is, I think, where all of this stems from, for art and for nature, and nature as art. Because nature to me is still, you know, pretty pervasive in everything that I do.
Right. And you're here in London, which, you know, most people know as dreary and, you know, bland, but you really bring the pop to London. So, I mean, I know people must, just gobble up your art. I mean, you just probably bring life to London. And talking about London, like, how'd you get here to London?
So I came via New York and Virginia. I know that's where my degrees were. I felt that I had sort of spent my time in the US and I wasn't ready to go back to the Bahamas yet, because at that time it was quite difficult for female women artists particularly. So it just so happened that I got the opportunity to come to England and to London, and I'd always wanted to come anyway. So then I made that my home and started to basically transfer everything to here. And now I live a dual existence, which is wonderful. I'm very lucky. So I live between London and Nassau. My family are still in Nassau, and I do a lot of home trips. I've designed my exhibitions so that I spend a lot of time with them, particularly with aging parents.
Yeah, and that's it too, because we were just together a couple of months ago. You had a wonderful show. Was it in Echo or the Current?
It was at the Current.
Right.
Yeah, thanks to John Coxon, Avery Wright, and Jordan Ritchie, and all the rest of the team, Jordana Kelly as well. They all look after me.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful because they actually work with my schedule to try to have my exhibitions when it really suits my life, which is very important, i.e. during the winter months.
When it's cold over here.
When it's cold, it's like, bye, I gone.
Well, you can't take the island out of the woman, eh? You could bring you over here, but boy, it's still the cold over here. But like I said, your art, I've always loved it. And I mean, look at this. You brought the Bahamas to London. So how have the Londoners accepted your art over here?
Well, I've been very lucky in that I have some buyers, and I also have buyers and collectors, obviously, via the Bahamas London connection, which is very important. You would be surprised like how much connected they are. At first, like I had issues that, is it actually that turquoise? And I'm like, it is. But due to social media and Instagram, everyone's awareness now of everything is just so much vaster. And that people actually realize that the turquoise of the Exuma Sea is actually that turquoise.
Right.
And so this is, at that stage, I went from doing abstract expressionist lodge paintings to painting quite representational paintings, which were a bit political. So I would have like Cabbage Beach with like tons of Cabbage Beach buoys, or boys as they call them, just showing about sort of, the territorial nature and not being able to access a beach.
Right.
Which is, so there's always some underlying current of territory or just belligerence or racism or something that is not quite right. In these so-called beautiful paintings. There's always something going on. But, they're becoming more and more that way as I mature, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, just from this show alone, there are, all these talented Bahamians over here. And as I've been here, I've just more and more Bahamians. So there's a huge Bahamian population over here. Do you get to meet or?
Yes. Well, I've always been a part of the the mission and the Bahamian art community here. I used to have shows with the Bahamas High Commission and sometimes with other high commissions, so that I could forge more relationships. And I've always had a good time doing that, but also people sort of know who I am, and I've sold work that way, and I've also shared the Bahamas with people at these events. So it's always been a part of my way of getting the work out there, but now it is, I'm through galleries and other sort of venues.
That's fantastic. And I appreciate you letting us come into your workspace, because some of this is still art in motion,
Progress. Well, this is my actual working area of the studio.
This is amazing. I love the light coming through.
It's brand new, actually, because I was in a bigger studio a while ago, which was at least an hour commute from here, at least an hour commute. And it got even more so. So I've been living where I'm living since 2013, and we actually bought the lease to this studio a year and a half ago.
That's great.
It used to be a dry cleaners.
Oh, okay.
Of mold and my husband, John, very kindly made the studio for me.
He's very industrious.
And,
I know John.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
And, I love the daylight, everything. He put the skylight in.
Wow.
And it's literally across the road from our home. So I have no commuting time.
So that's an hour. There's 2 hours more of painting you can do.
Not only that, but, I get to really focus and not panic about if I haven't left by 10 o'clock to go to drive an hour, then mix up paint and then have to come, it doesn't work that way. I can just come over here, mix up the paint, get a phone call, have to dash over there, come back and get myself back where I was.
Yeah.
And I can't say how grateful I am for that. I feel I've earned it, but I'm also very grateful for this opportunity. And also my work is much informed by my garden, our garden. which I'm hoping we can feature as well, because it's all a part of that nature thing and that mindset that goes with making this work, which has to do with environment, diversification, adaptation. All of that is in the work, and it's because of my mad gardening.
So thanks so much. Let's go look at the garden and more Charlie Bahama right after this in London.
The Charlie Bahama Show will be right back.
London Drop, London Drop, London Drop, and we are here in front of Shakespeare's Globe. And this is the original spot where Shakespeare did all his plays, and I'm sure you all know about Shakespeare. In 1599, the original one burned down, but this is a replica that they built after. And there are plays in there starting at £5. Shakespeare plays. Little drop, history. Hey, welcome back to the Charlie Bahama Show. And now we are here in front of the National Gallery. But what's important is the National Portrait Gallery is here. And my cousin, I know we look just alike, but my cousin Alessandro, but we call him Sandro, is here. And there's something special in there that Sandro painted. We're going to talk about that in a sec. But I first got to, even though, I grew up with you, the Bahamas, but you were born there, but like, tell me the connection. I know our cousin Christine and Aunt Sue and everything, but what's the Bahamian connection with you?
I think the first bit is grandmother. My mum's and
Grandma
Christine
Bailey.
mum's sister. She told me she was on her way to America from Europe and she got sand in her toes and she never wanted to leave. So she started there. Now I don't know how long ago that was, many years ago. And then my mum and her sister joined their mum from being in London.
Right.
And my mum's sister, Christine's mum, lives there, married a Bahamian, and her life has been in Bahamas, her children are Bahamian. And I was born there during that time, and my mum and dad met there. And so my earliest memories are all Nassau.
But when did you get into art?
Always drawing from an early age, just drawing people, and took a long time to realise that could be a career. It's not really offered as a career,
Yeah, I know.
and maybe it isn't really a career, it's kind of vocation, but that was just my first love, And I think through loving drawing and wanting to push it to its furthest aspect in what I could do with it, had to be art. I felt if I was designing shoes or something, there'd always be a limit.
Right.
Whereas with a canvas, it was like our teachers say, paint whatever you want, which can be quite daunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very freeing.
It's freeing, but your work is like, it's almost like a photograph. I mean, that would be, I know you paint a lot of different things, but your portraits are like, it's almost like you took a photograph, and that's why we're here, because you have Dame Judi Dench. I mean, that is like prestigious alone that she trusted you with that, and they hung it in here. I'm going to show you a clip of that. We have to sneak a camera in. I don't know, maybe we'll just take a picture.
Yeah, we can.
To show you that. I mean, how was that painting her, working with her?
Well, I thought it would be really terrifying, but she was such a nice lady, everything people say about her, that's so true. She's very gracious, and she made it really easy. The gallery themselves said, because it was about her and her prestige in the country, oh, Dame Judi, you can follow Alessandro every week, check in, make sure you like it. I was thinking, what are we doing? And she was straight away like, no, let him do what he wants. She gave me that creative control. Come the opening, there was a big curtain in front of it, and she had never seen it. All her friends came from the show. It was pretty terrifying.
Oh, I can
bet. It should have been a drum roll, and it dropped. And that was the first time she saw it. And she said she really loved it. But seeing as she won, I always say this, but she won that Oscar, so I never know if it's just the acting. But she was very funny because I made her, she's very tiny. That she has this incredible voice and presence,
right,
but physically she's tiny. But the presence, I thought she's got to be big. In the culture in England, she's a big presence. So I painted her big, and her speech was something along the lines that she wanted a little plaque next to it saying actual life size. So she thought of that on the cuff. I thought that was very good. But I was very lucky that she was like this, and she's part of English as well as a film actress. She's English theatre through and through, and there's a big tradition in oil painting in England of English actresses. and she's part of that lineage.
And now you, but I'm sure more daunting than Dame Judi Dench was painting your family and your cousins. Because you
Sasha,
painted
yeah.
some Bahamians and
Yes.
also Bahamian
Yes.
landscapes or Bahamian.
My aunt and uncle's scenes in their garden, and from where the childhood I grew up, you know, in that environment, and it's still the same place. And I've painted their pool and how beautiful it looks. I painted my wife there. I painted Sasha, Christine's daughter, and that was very emotional. I think that was emotional for Christine too, and Sasha, and she was staying with us while she went to university, you know, or she would come and stay with us for weekends, and so yeah, it's the presence of my memories, my childhood, you know, my sort of being, and because there's family there, it's a constant, you know. It's not somewhere we visited, it's somewhere we've lived, and family's still there.
Yeah, it's ingrained in you. Yeah, so I'm showing you also images of Sandro's, I call him Sandro, but Alessandro's art as we are talking as well. So, well, what's next?
There's things, yeah, in the pipeline that I'm working on. I've got a show in Tokyo next year. That's the next thing I'm sort of focusing on at the moment.
Yeah.
I painted the American ambassador. Maybe I'll paint the Bahamian ambassador. Let's see.
Okay.
You were at the embassy yesterday.
Yeah, we were there.
We'll sort that one out.
Oh yeah, we'll sort it out. Because actually
Yeah.
he did say, you must contact him. Seriously, he said that. But let's
great.
put it out there. You know, you did Dame Judi Dench.
Yeah.
Who else would you, other than me, who else would you like to paint? So we'll put it out
Wow.
there.
that's
Maybe
a
they
good-
watch the
that-
Charlie
I should
Bahama
have
show.
thought of that beforehand, shouldn't
Oh.
I? You know, I'd quite like to paint other artists that I respect. There's a lot of people, you know. There's
Okay,
a lot.
we'll
I
put the list
sometimes think
together.
the royal family. Who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? Let's see. Yeah,
King
put
Charles.
it out there. Yeah.
All right, King Charles.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm sure he needs a really good portrait. You know, he's probably hardly had anybody paint him, so you know, definitely.
Yeah, that's true. There's none been painted of him.
He's
But,
had a lot, but not an Alessandro. So anyway,
Yeah.
Alessandro, well, listen, we're gonna put it out there. So
Thank
we'll be
you.
coming back here to see King Charles's portrait, and then the portrait gallery.
Yeah.
So we'll see that soon. All right. So now
Definitely. Let's make it
we can
happen.
hang out and get you back to the Bahamas again.
Thank you. Thanks, Charlie.
All right. More Charlie Bahama right after this.
Subscribe to the Charlie Bahama YouTube page and follow Charlie Bahama on Instagram and TikTok for those classic and new interviews. Charlie Bahama, the original OG, and OG don't stand for old guy.
Yeah.
It's your boy Charlie Bahama and taking a little side trip here in Wales. And this is actually Cardiff, which is the capital of Wales. And behind me is the rugby stadium. So rugby is a very big sport here in Wales and throughout the United Kingdom. And Cardiff is the capital, as I said. We're going to also pop on over to Aberdare. But Wales is a part of the United Kingdom. So there's Northern Ireland, Wales, England, and then also Scotland. All right, so enjoy a little bit of Wales and Cardiff, and you'll also notice some of the wording. They have the signs in both English and Welsh, which is the native language here, but not a lot of people speak it, but they're trying to get it back, so they have the signs in both. I'm sure you understand Welsh more than you understand English. Enjoy.
KFC's everywhere. Not as good as the Bahamas.
If you want more Charlie Bahama, go to any of our social media pages or subscribe to the Charlie Bahama YouTube page. London drop, London drop, London drop. And right here,
the walls of the original city of London. Okay, so on those walls is the castle where King Henry VIII, we know King Henry VIII, the one who, his wives, a few of them, he lived in there as well. St. Thomas More was beheaded there by the tower because he did not recognize the separation from the Catholic Church, because King Henry VIII wanted that so he can get a divorce. Well, since he couldn't get a divorce, and also the crown jewels are in those walls as well. And so as you can see, there is so much to see here in this episode, Charlie Bahama from London. But hey, it continues next week with another episode right here from the UK. So until then, remember, go to all our Charlie Bahama socials, our YouTube channel, so you can see more behind the scenes from London. All right, so until next week, peace, safe travels, and Charlie Bahama.
Charlie Bahama Show. 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 Charlie Bahama Show.